All right, here we are, ready to do some drawing, ladies and gentlemen. Today is the day after Christmas, and let's hit it hard so that before the end of the new year, the end of the year, we set ourselves up in a pretty good position. That's really the goal, some consistency in our life. That's really what'll do it. All right, so this scene here, which is a scene I've been working on and off the whole week, or a couple of weeks actually. I should have some colors around here actually. So let's see. We got something going on here. Let's dive into this. Okay, so this is really where we were last night, and I picked the green color even though it really was more of a blue originally for this scene, but I'm just gonna hold back and we're gonna try the green. Let's see if that works. Not against my better judgment, but against my impulses. So we should have the catalog of colors. You see these colors in the top left hand side of the canvas. I'll use those as references to, well, not references, is like almost like a palette to take off of. So here we are. We're looking at the Muddy 7, as I'll call them. I'm going to drop the opacity a little bit here because I think there needs to be a little more confidence in what's happening here. So if you don't know, I drew a graphic novel a couple years ago. I put one out. And one thing I think I would like to improve upon is to really centralize my stories so that they're more accessible to more people. I don't think there's anything wrong with the way that I approached it initially. I think it works. It communicates to those who want to give it a shot. There's a lot of ambiguity, but I think I'd like to pull that back. I think that stories can actually serve a really important purpose for humanity, and that's actually a reasonably new epiphany that I've had concerning storytelling and stories as a whole, and kind of realizing the symbiotic relationship. I mean, a lot of reflection has come about specifically because of this new AI revolution, or this imposing AI revolution that's coming. It's kind of interesting because you want to like say that we're in this AI revolution, and we kind of are, and we're kind of not. I was actually looking over the weekend, instead of hanging out with my family for Christmas, I actually spent time working on this stuff. And I was like, is there a way today in 2023 to just tell AI, make me a graphic novel? And there were a lot of thumbnails and a lot of accounts that were willing to say, yeah, that they can do just that. Well, they really can't. I mean, you can kind of get close to one in some ways, but at the moment, that product doesn't exactly exist. I think that if you were to make it happen, you would need to have you'd have to be able to wield a lot of control over the AI. And then I think at that point, if you have that level of skills, it'll probably be more valuable to do other things with them. Now, to me, the value would be in making the graphic novel. But for other people, the programmers, as we know, a lot of them forego being creatives, and they go straight for the market and try to figure out how to satisfy the market while creating products that make life easier for other people, or in many cases, allow other people to make money. All right, so I want a little bit more clarity here, but I also want to make sure that there's a balance to what's happening here. I think that one thing that I'm not doing particularly, that I'd like to do better, that I'm doing okay, but I'd like to do a little bit better, is to really do something about the weight of these characters. Okay, let's see. Let's clean this up a little bit. So this guy's face can get cleaned up. These lines, I think these lines can be altered. There we go. let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of that background. It's kind of, it's interesting. I guess I could use this line. This is kind of like my own little podcast, except for I think that if you're going to have a podcast, you should have some level of preparation. What kind of stuff are we going to talk about? But I have a day job. It's a pretty good job. And so, they pay me, so I make sure to stay focused on that stuff. But for now, I think that we can get into a way of just having a streamlined consciousness about that particular topic without really getting too much into it. Do I think that AI is going to disrupt things? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I do remember vaguely. I was too young to know what it was like when Photoshop came out, which is the tool I'm using right now. And I'm sure that scared a lot of people. And it did, and rightfully so. I mean, look at what happened with the Disney animators. Some of the greatest animators, arguably ever, coming out of Disney would never have thought that, as they developed their craft, that eventually Disney as a company would cut all those guys and would cut the animation department, the 2D animation department, or at least gut it. And those folks are looking for work now. A lot of them are teaching classes. Now, having said that, I really think that AI is going to come around for these guys, and they're going to be able to make feature-length movies, and they won't need the infrastructure of Disney to do that. So I think that really what's happened is that the caliber of creative has really is going to elevate creative people, but it's also going to cut a lot of people out because some people like to just be a part of things. And when you make movies or when you do long-form stories, you can look at the story. Oh, wrong one. You can look at the story. You can look at the big project and say, I'm just here to contribute. But the thing is, it's not really losing anything. I mean, I worked in film and television production for most of my adult career. I'm 36 years old. And probably from age 18 to 27, that was how I made the lion's share of my income. And I actually grew up in the Midwest. I'm still in the Midwest in a sense. I live in Chicago. And so the ability to get on these sets was really difficult. And in many cases, I would do it for no money at all, which is crazy to think. I think for a lot of people, it probably blows their mind a little bit. Like, why would you do that? But it was because I wasn't getting access to those opportunities. And I knew that if I hadn't had those experiences, then I would have too many questions and I wouldn't be able to do my own thing. And so I wasn't getting the results that I wanted. Perhaps, my dad was saying, you just need to move to the West Coast and move to California. And I wasn't afraid of moving to California. It really didn't bother me. I just felt like a lot of people were going to have that same exact idea, and I just didn't want to be amongst many. And then I wanted to make my success on my own. And, it's kind of interesting here while I make my own graphic novel, because this is something that's happening on my own effort. All right. Now, is this getting a little bit clearer? I think so. Let's get some outlines on this a little bit. The nice thing is that I know enough about drawing that I can develop and have developed a style that I think really allows my creativity to have kind of its own voice. Let's see, what are we doing here? All right, looking in, looking out. So really the character we want to pay attention to is the guy over here. I know I'm getting all over the place. What was I talking about? Oh, production, working in production. My point is that's really difficult work. And to free up people from that really difficult work, it may be really hard because that is their livelihood. But I think this is something that happens over time anyway. I had always thought when YouTube started to blow up, because I remember when YouTube first showed up on the scene, I had a short film, and my grandpa came to me and said, you should post your short film on this website. It's called YouTube. And we looked at the website, and honestly, the website was basically filled with people doing the old Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi Mentos trick, whatever. And I just thought, well, this isn't what I want to do with my movie. Now, having said that, God, I don't even know what year that was. Had I uploaded that short film, I'm certain it would have made me money had I monetized it. But it would have done a lot of things. Still to this day, I haven't uploaded it, so I don't really know what I'm talking about there. But my point is that things change. and these tools are getting better. And the question of whether or not it's worth time for me to spend time drawing this, so intricately, instead of just having a computer do it, I think is that, the computers can beat people at chess. It's basically game over when it comes to chess. Nobody expects anybody to beat even the best of the best chess players. But I would argue that chess might be more popular now than it's ever been. Well, then how do you explain that, right? Well, I would say that it's because humans like to connect with other humans, and I don't see that going away. I could be wrong. I could be foolish for thinking that, but my instincts say that just stay in your lane, create things, tell stories. Those stories are still human experiences, and don't get too caught up into the details of what's happening with technology. I know nobody asked that question. Rather, no one's really saying anything. But I will say it's something that's on my mind, and I feel pretty good about it. I think that without the AI, I would be probably certain for failure. But with some of the AI tools that I've been using at work, it's pretty amazing what you can make. A lot of work. You still have to do a lot of work. Still a lot of work needs to be done in order to bring things together. But it's doable. And when I mean doable, I mean like what if a feature-length animated movie was produced by just one person? One artist did an entire story based on their mind and and they don't need actors, they don't need backgrounds, or they don't need to shoot the real world too often or anything like that. I think that's a pretty amazing thing, and I think at that point it would cause a renaissance for animation if people could do animation and tell stories in a way that they're not able to do in real life. A lot of the big movies that are out are heavy animation, but they have actors around it, and I think that people connect with other people. There is something about getting a shot of a human being. What are we going to do here? I'm going to keep going this route. I have to make a decision. This is really about the character over to the right. So maybe what we'll do is... Oh, I know what I'm going to do. The next two shots will actually be of this same character. So I think it'll communicate properly, and people can look backwards. The thing that makes it harder, graphic novels or comic books are a little bit easier, is because like movies, things just play by, and technically people could rewind, but they generally don't. I mean, I know they do sometimes. If they feel like they're missing a key plot point, they might say, hey, what did they say? Or someone was talking, and they might say, hold it, rewind that. I feel like I needed to know that. But with graphic novels, they can kind of go back and forth and try it again, which is pretty cool, I think. What do we got here? So we got this guy's kind of orchestrating it. We're missing one of them, but I think that's okay because it's not really about them. It's about this guy. All right, what do we got here? All right, I say we crush it like this. Yeah, I'm not in love with it, but we can move forward. Now let's go to this character. Now this is that same guy, but a close-up of him. Let's make sure that we don't... Okay, so yeah, it's the same kind of thing, but we're going to do a close-up of him and, kind of see that his eyes are bulging out a little bit. It's kind of interesting that the mud pillows, I don't really do the mud until right at the end. I don't know if it's like... Sometimes when I eat food, I will save my favorite food for last, to eat last. And, hold on one second. I'm just going to make sure that we're seeing everybody. Okay, cool. All right, back to the work. All right, so let's get in here. We'll do this. All right, our buddy's coming around like this. He's got a little bit of this face. Let's try to cute him up a little bit. Cute him up a bit. Give him some more definition around the eyes. And then, of course, he's a pillow. And so we're just going to go ahead and put that what would you say? Let's go back to our reference. That that line there. I'm actually going to go ahead and put this line here. There we go. And then we just put the spooky stitching. Spooky. Ooh, and the occasional X in there. You know, like this. Spooky. All right. And then we have this. What's the big deal with this? I don't understand. What do you know? What do you know? All right. So we come in here. Our buddy's looking. And we could probably light this pretty well, too. Maybe give him something like this. I'm going to keep this separate for a little bit, though. Oh, we got the square. We don't want the square. So I'm kind of flirting with this idea that we'll be able to get to this world where I can make a feature-length animated movie. And so, what's interesting is a few years ago, when this book was really starting to pop off, or my first one, I would get questions from people on the internet who were like, hey, are you doing this in hopes to make a movie out of this franchise? And I said, no, I don't have unrealistic expectations for the world. And it's interesting because the world changed. You could kind of tell that the world was going to go in this direction, that things are going to perpetually get better. In most cases, actually, why don't we fill this whole thing in over here? And I like with the shadows to do 3 levels of shadows. So we got this one, and then we got this one, the little fat guys. And then let's go see this next panel is this same guy, but he's decided he's going to go ahead and engage this item that he's seen. And it's just a blinking light. So a mud pillow isn't that hard to impress. So we come in here, just kind of keep this down. I always wonder, about streaming in general. I don't think there's any reason to get too bummed out about how many people are watching your stream because Meat Canyon or Canyon? I'm not sure. Oh, you should make these match. Uh-oh. So you made commitments. 1, 2, 3. So why don't we do this? Yep. I've seen some of his streams, and he'll just get like a couple hundred people, and his videos get millions of views. So I think that, one, people can't really be available exactly right away, and his videos still get a lot of views. That means that people are not watching it live, they're just watching it later, and some of them are watching it live. So, if you get a chance, check it out. I enjoy his streams. I enjoy his work. I think, it's a little vulgar for me. I wonder, and I always wonder, is that what it takes to be successful on the internet, which is to kind of be this, how do I say this? I feel like the internet was offering, with e-bombs and Newgrounds and stuff like that, the videos that were doing well were things that you just couldn't see on television. Therefore, it brought a certain crowd. It isn't for me. I don't know when I developed my, the kind of stuff that I liked, or, what my influences were growing up, that caused me to feel that way. But I just feel like, you don't have to go to the most extreme, but I can still enjoy that stuff. But I remember Salad Fingers being so odd that everyone knew what it was. All right, let's put a shadow on this guy too. We'll come back to it. But really, the style of art that I'm going through right now or the process that I'm going through right now is really trying to cruise through these few chapters and really putting a lot of detail in these pages. I will say a little bit more planning would probably do me good. I do a lot of things by impulse, and I think that I come up with really cool things. It's just it takes a long time. And so I'd really like to speed up the process. So it looks like we kind of have the same thing going with this guy. So why don't we put these two... Actually, I'm going to put these all on the same layer as well, just to make things easier. Okay, so these are two different panels, but I'm putting them on the same layer just to keep things easy for me. All right, where are we at here? Okay, that needs to be developed. Let's go in here. Let's grab another panel. Oh, let's grab these two panels. I think these are basically done. But let's pull them out and see how it goes. It's interesting because this one looks like it's done too, and I feel like I started it and I just created a whole new problem for myself. What is that? That is not what I thought it was. I don't know what that is. Let's delete that. All right, so let's try it again. These two panels, so to give you an idea of what we're looking at, we'll do, so basically it is one, so you have this one here. These guys are marching along, and then this guy to the right sees what I see on these two panels, what we all see on these two panels, which is on a chair, there's a light going off, and that light will probably be red, because that's the complementary color that we have here. So we would say something like this. So we can maybe make it illuminate. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to approach this. But these actually work pretty well. I'm actually going to let this one go. So it would be 1, 2, and then we would go back to this. So there'd be the left character here, 3, and then we would come back to this, the right one here, and then it would be 4. And then so that's enough panels to communicate to the audience that this character is interested. And then what happens is the character starts to, here, I'll just walk you guys through this. The character just turns, and so we'll get a close-up of him here, moving around. And then we have the character, so I think this one, what do we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, this middle one where he climbs up, 8, where he's on his way up, 9, 10, 11, which I think will actually stay on the same page when posted, and then 12. And so I'll have to find a way economically to be able to post this, because I think Instagram's only limited to 10 panels, but we'll figure something out. And then JobBot comes in. So it's kind of a, real short, sweet story. Not much is happening. Maybe I'll put some rhetoric where they start talking about mud and stuff like that, and about the whole, they captured this pillow. If you're not familiar, I would like to reference you to the last post on the Instagram. It'd probably be good if I hosted the comic on the website as well. Something to think about. Another thing, too, is that I got to figure out the top of this headset. I think this is fine. Okay, so this is good stuff, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and move to something else. So we got this one. Okay, so this is what would come next. If you see here, these are really low renders. These are me just kind of getting ideas out, getting ideas for composition, getting ideas like what I need to happen in the story. Oftentimes I do it without any dialogue or without any words at all. That's just a background. So actually, why don't we get in here? This is one I was kind of having trouble with. This kind of looks like a 1940s Saturday morning cartoon look, which I don't think really has much of a place. This one actually came out a little bit better. Committing to Jammer. Oh, this one did well because of perspective. So, actually, why don't we drop this one down? I'll work on this one because I think there's some good stuff to do here with JobBot. So I will jump into here, and as you see, JobBot is hard at work. Whoop! What is up with that red? I don't need that red. Let's get the black. And here we go. So JobBot here. Okay, he's kind of got that size correctly. I like the idea of him looking like kind of like a little kid. That's always a good look. Make sure the perspective's right. There we go. It goes over top like this. And then there we go. So we got to wrap this around. Maybe redo JobBot's eyes. JotBot's basically got this curved monitor. Who's doing the curved monitor? Isn't it? I think it's Motorola. Motorola's doing the curved monitor. So maybe Motorola helped JotBot get his face on. I like that JotBot has two different modes, just working and angry. Angrily working. Here we go. So we're on to this. Oh, interesting. Different feeds have different speeds. Different feeds for different speeds. All right. So let's go ahead and get down here and start to eat away some of this old stuff. I can't find my drawing glove, which actually kind of makes it a little bit harder for me to sketch. And I think this stuff that people really like on these channels is like really amazing art, which is, you know, I think that maybe what might be good is like when I get to a certain stage when I'm like, hey, this drawing looks pretty awesome. Let's take this to a stream. That might be what I'm going to have to do. But for now, this is all about the discipline. You know, today's a work day. Do I actually take care of business? And today I am. I don't think I've missed any streams yet. I might have. Oh, you know what? I actually missed a stream a few days ago. No, I actually did. I or didn't I? No, I did. I had some plans and I took the plans and went with them. So, not forever. He's still looking kind of rough. I almost feel like it would be better to not stream some of these because I gotta kind of warm up a little bit, you know. There we go. And then Jammer's over here holding on to his helmet. Maybe we have Jammer put his helmet away at some point. I don't know. I don't know why he's carrying the helmet, but it's kind of a prop at the moment. Maybe we'll upper his nose a little bit. There we go. Yeah, you know, someone had commented that he looks kind of like a dog, and I could see that. But this is our boy Jammer. We're sticking with him. We're sticking with the Jamsters. Gonna bring this down. I'm gonna have to do a draw-a-thon. I was planning on doing one over Christmas, and I did not. What's that mean? I think that means I lack integrity. Integrity Farms. I lack Integrity Farms. Well, that's not too bad. It's a little bit better. Maybe get in here and highlight some stuff. It makes me wonder, like, are there even artists on Twitch? Because a lot of the notifications that I get from Meat Canyon, are of him gaming. I don't actually even see him drawing that often, but sometimes I do. It's kind of interesting. I'd like to know more about him and his process because there's no way he's doing all that stuff on his own. So he's definitely got a team. And I'd be interested to hear more about the team and how they do what they do. Always looking for the highlight. Yeah, I mean, if this drawing was at its like maximum or whatever you would say, I think a lot more people would be. I don't know. Like, how does an art stream watcher come about anyway? Ooh, what time is it? Well, we're halfway through the stream. Oh, that doesn't look too bad. Maybe what we could do is we could post to let people know that we're streaming. And give them a link. Give them a link to this bad boy. There we go. I think it's that, right? There we go. This should work. All right, and back to work. Okay, so let's get some more texture on our boy Jammer. Texture really is what saves these things. I mean, the line work, okay, but it's the texture, and the texture, the trick is, if you're trying to learn, the texture has to follow the perspective. So you know what kind of shape you're dealing with, and you have to respect that when creating texture. So just like with the mud pillows, the last thing I do is I do the mud last. And with cats, the last thing I do are the whiskers, because they can be really cool. There's a lot you can do with that. So let's get some texture in here. Kind of got a cartoonish look. I wonder if the cartoonish look's going to go away. You got to keep cute, but then also make it kind of serious. There we go. A little more texture in here. A little more texture in here for your boy. There we go. It's an interesting week. Happy holidays to anybody. It's interesting because you get the Christmas holiday, and then right around the corner is New Year, and that's kind of cool. The holiday season. I wish I could celebrate more holidays, or more reasons to celebrate. Like, for example, there's I don't know. What's something to celebrate? Well, the Lions are in the playoffs. Now that's something to celebrate. Let me tell you something. For a long time, I've been watching the Lions, and I've been rooting for the Lions. And I've watched them be very bad. I've watched a lot of games where they're very, very disappointing. I've watched them blow significant leads. Almost like, they're up by 3 touchdowns, and you're like, well, just wait. Just wait. And what do you know? The other team is able to rally back. And I wonder what that is. Like, even Cleveland as well, like the psychology of the whole thing. There was, what's that famous quote? There's a movie where they said, why do the Yankees win all those games? Because they keep staring at the pinstripes. Basically saying that there's a psychology to it. And I believe it. I've played a lot of sports. I've worked in sports television, which doesn't mean that I'm an athlete. I'm not trying to say that. But I'm saying I've seen a lot, and I've noticed that the psychology really does play a big part. Teams that come in confident, or teams that are overwhelmed, can't believe they're even there. It can have a negative effect on them. So I would recommend to not allow psychology to rule your world, so to speak, Yes, that's what you came here for. I wonder if that guy drawing that fat cat's got advice for me. Yes, I do. But it's not really advice for you. It's really advice for myself. Okay, so I do not like what I just did there on that arm. See what I did there? I just kind of put lines in. That's something you're going to see a lot in pencil drawings, which I'm kind of going the pencil route. But you want to go with the contour. Is that the right word? I don't know. Whatever the shape is, you want to follow that shape. Here we are here. Here we are here. Okay. Oof. There we go. Let's see what's going on here. I don't mind it. I don't mind it. It's just a single panel. It's not that crazy. What I really think is going to happen here is I'm going to have these key panels in there, and then I'm going to spend a lot less time getting other panels working through everything. I don't know if that's going to make it better or not, but that's the process that I'm following at the moment. Whoa, don't loop it, buddy. Don't get lazy. I wonder if when I submitted this book to Image Comics, they looked at my style and were like, this guy's lazy. You can trick the public, buddy, but you cannot trick us. I also heard actually like their submission process is really for really famous writers. And those are the kinds of books that they're really interested in because people know who the writers are and they pick up the books based on the writers. No one knows who Timothy James is, therefore it's not marketable to them. So it's kind of interesting because it's like one of these situations where it's like, okay, well, then I'm going to have to market the book myself. Well, in that case, if I am doing okay, what's the point of elevating it? So there's got to be some sort of matrix where you meet, where, how do I say this? There's got to be some sort of matrix where there's got to be a matrix. Are you a red pill or blue pill type of guy? Oh my God, those red pill guys. Are there any red pill guys here? Isn't that what that is? A red pill, which is like that you can see that we're living in the matrix. Oh my God, guys. Be careful with that stuff. Because, I mean, we are, in a sense, living in a system. So I can see where that's coming from. But to really be like, oh, my eyes are open. I mean, even nowadays, you can tell that society's evolving its consciousness. And it's leaving some people behind, which is what I think is causing a lot of conflict in our society. All right, let's drop this. See, these are really, I can just tell I need to draw before I draw, if that makes sense. Black. I need to draw before I draw. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, the Matrix. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious that we're living in a system that's like bigger than us. It's bigger than like governments and everything. We're just kind of in this anthill, and I think the idea is not to get overwhelmed by it, to accept it and realize that you have control over it, and that the world is really just a lot of chaos. And I think that if you can do that, as opposed to what I think some people feel like, which is that there are some people who actually know how the world works. Now, people might know how certain portions of the world work, but no one really knows what's going on. And I think that's the big secret. You came here to Conformity Farm to learn what the big secret is. And it is that no one knows anything. When I was a kid, I used to think that grown-ups all understood it. And then I grew up and realized, like, nobody knows what's going on. I keep making JobBot more narrow. Interesting. So let's do... Oh, you know what it is? His side's a little too big. Let's bring this down. There we go. That's more manageable. Oh, my goodness. I don't even remember when I first started drawing again as of recently. I said, it's going to take me about 3 months to get right back to a place where, things are going well. I don't know how long it's been. I don't think it's been three months. I guess I could look back. It seems like it's been a while, but it really hasn't. It's kind of interesting because if you don't do the things that you want to do and time keeps slipping away, it can get very hard on your psyche. You're like, I really want to do this thing. The other thing that really blows my mind is that all the motivational videos on YouTube are about working out. They're like, you need to get your life into control and get a six-pack. And it's like, well, for some people, that may not be what it is. I've always wondered about that. Like, is that what everyone's big goal is? I like that people are getting more fit. Listen, I am not someone who's like hating on that. I think be healthy, maximize what your body can do. But I do think there is this weird aspect of like right now where everyone's into that aspect. You know what it might be? It might be just something that a lot of people want. So who am I to complain? But I do have a microphone in front of me, and I can only talk about things that I'm thinking about. And that's a thought I had today, so I decided to share it on the feed. The interesting thing is, my thought is about this whole thing, if you look at my old streams, I don't really say very much unless someone says something to me or someone calls in on the Discord or something like that. And I think that if I'm going to do an hour-long stream, I should at least stream my consciousness. It's only an hour. It's not that crazy. I'm not preparing in any type of way. I just have a multitude of thoughts that'll pass my head throughout the day. And so why not share them while I draw? Otherwise, it just doesn't make sense. Now, I tried to play music in the background, and YouTube didn't like that much, which makes sense. They do this thing where if you have copywritten material on specifically the music, on your feed, then you actually get, they basically say that if you ever get monetized, which I'm not, then the money would go to whoever claimed that song, which is interesting. It's one way to allow, this Wild West of letting this music exist, but also it's a way of giving back the creatives, because you're basically saying, hey, if you can't fill the time and you're filling it up with my work, then I should be compensated. And it says, good on you, Gene Simmons. I heard Gene Simmons is the nicest guy in the world. All right, so we updated this image, getting a little bit better, a little bit closer, but I really think that, I don't even know. All right, let's end that one. Ooh, I remember this one. This one's a cool one. All right, let's drop the opacity down. Let's sketch on top of this bad boy. All right, well, if anybody has a question for me, you're welcome to drop it in the old comment section or the chat, and I will answer it. I don't know if there's really anything to ask a guy like me, though. I guess people could ask me about the art, but it has to be a weird time. Like, do you think that, I feel like kids at one point, or just a few years ago, were like, oh, I can be an artist, I can be an influencer. Well, obviously you can still do all that stuff, but with the advent of AI, it has to be a really weird moment for them to be like, oh, I can't do this, the AI will do it all. I mean, that's the same kind of stuff I was thinking when I was a kid. And they're not wrong, but then there are some people who are like, I have to express myself. But I will say this, and this is something I wanted to say at the beginning of the episode, which was that when YouTube first came out, I thought that there was going to be this huge filmmaker revolution, that there were going to be incredible filmmakers coming out. They were going to post their movies for free on YouTube. And that didn't really happen. People started to essentially perfect the short form, but then also when business came in, they said, hey, listen, you got to keep giving us content. Posting one thing, we're not going to make that great. But I know, how do you even say that? Like Felix Colgrave is out here. He dropped Double King or whatever it is. I mean, that's a real work of art, and he's got millions of views on it. I mean, let's take a look. Where's Double King at? Let's take a look at Felix's work. Is it just King? Oh, and people are reacting to it. It has 81 million views on Double King. So let's calculate that. YouTube views calculator. There's got to be something like that out there. Let's see. Social Blade. I don't know what the hell that is. YouTube money calculator. Okay. So let's say he's got, is that 3 zeros? Okay, so it doesn't, actually the counter doesn't even go up to 3. So 10 million. So we would need to, so that guy made millions of dollars off of this video. That's fucking badass, man. That's what's supposed to happen. Maybe he didn't make that much money though. I don't know. I know he's got a Patreon out, but what a great artist. It's very, he's fantastic. Felix Colgrave's got his own style. Now he's putting out short animations. He does not, he really doesn't he stays within his own style. He stays within his own world. It's pretty impressive. All right, what are we going to do here? Let's highlight this a little bit. Let's see how far we can get. Or, you know what might be really good for the stream? Instead of jumping from drawing to drawing, maybe what I'll do is I'll stay on one drawing that's pretty close to being completely finished. I think people like that. So it's like, okay, here's a really cool drawing. This is working out really well. Ooh, what's that about? Wonder how that'll come out. All right, let's max it out. Yeah, how is that black darker than the other one? Oh, well. All right, let's merge them together. Merge. We might need him to say something. I'm not sure. But this isn't a bad one. Ooh, here we go. Do you like panels that tell a story? Ooh, and I'm leaking out some dialogue too. I try not to do that. But we got to get through this book. We got to get this damn thing out. Stepping with his left. Stepping with his left. Stepping with his left. Standing. Standing. Oh, I think he's going to jump in the bed too. Oh, that'll be a fun one. This is the same. I wonder why I put a spotlight on him. I could put more spotlights on him. You know, the one thing that blows my mind is that, you know, there's a lot of work in. Why don't we do this one? This is cool. There's a lot of work put into lighting in movies. And a lot of it's also done to try to hide things. Like, you know, the way that they want it to make it seem like it makes sense. It's all practical. You know, it's actually the word they use, practical. And I'm starting to notice some really good movies that don't try to hide it at all. They will shot for shot, they will move all the lights around as the same people in the room are talking. And I've always thought that was kind of interesting because, you know, unless you really know what's going on, you can't tell. Actually, let's bring this ear back because he's about to jump into the hammock, if you will. I don't think I've taken Jammer's tale serious enough, in my opinion. Okay, so so I'm still basically trying to cultivate these lines. Huh. How do we get these knees to bend from our big boy? Interesting. Ooh. Ooh. Not too bad. All right, let's keep that. I feel like I lose viewers when I switch from panel to panel. You guys really want to see me finish a panel. If I had to guess, that might be part of it. How everything was simple. How everything was simple. So you might want to separate the how in a separate bubble. Survey a desolate planet. We die. Our names are in the history books. We exist as a footnote in history books. So I think if he's going to take a left step here, we should do another one where, at least here, maybe what we'll do is we'll plant our feet. There we go. So a lot of these were sketches when I was trying to work out the story, and ended up keeping a lot of them. And I think one of the big problems I'm having here is I'm like really staying married to these original sketches, and I really got to let them go, honestly, and just start moving forward. You know, it'd be good too is to have the character design in the corner, and also it would be good to have, you know, preparation, prep. Okay, not too bad. This one moves forward. Not too bad. This one moves forward. Okay. All right, what do we got here? Ooh, this is the next series of panels. Let's get some detail into this one. All right, I'm starting to feel it a little bit. I don't think an hour is enough for me to really get going. So, but it would be. Today is not the kind of day to go too late. He's talking. We'll let him talk. There we go. I like that. I like the exposition there. So his tail is covered up, but he's let's across these arms, traditional little figure 8, where he's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And his tail keeps getting bigger and smaller. You know, things like that, I think, would be good to get that stuff under control. It's not necessity, but it would be good. There we go. Didn't take long to get that line work under control, right? It communicates what we want to communicate. Oliver's over here looking all cute, staring at her little pillow baby. Why don't we... There we go. Ooh. Not too bad. She's got a little backpack on. I like this one. I almost ended up going to Drunken Shakespeare this week. I got invited to go, and I said, okay, I'll go. And it ended up being a little bit more expensive than I thought. It's like $100 per ticket. But it's basically Shakespeare. They're this show here in Chicago where Shakespearean actors do a Shakespearean show. So I'm assuming they don't know what show they're going to do until the audience gets there. And one of the actors takes 5 shots of liquor. And they attempt to do Shakespeare with one of the cast members being very drunk, which I think is that has to be really funny. I mean, heck, they're charging $100 a ticket. You know, people must be getting into this stuff. I thought it'd be pretty cool, a little bit higher than I expected, but you know what? It's a live show. These people are trained in Shakespeare. I mean, let's do it. Let's check it out. But then last minute, the friend group that bought the ticket told me they had made a mistake and actually only bought, they didn't buy as many tickets as they thought. And so they uninvited me. So they could be lying, but I actually got a screenshot of the ticket the night that they ordered the ticket, and it actually said the number of tickets that would not be enough tickets. So they did make the mistake and didn't realize it until later. Kind of a bummer, but I get to keep my $100, so it's actually not that bad. Because I said yes before I found out how much it was. They're like, "You want to go to Drunk Shakespeare? I don't know if that you're interested in that." I was like, "I am very much interested in that." And then they were like, "Oh, it's like, you know, it's $95 for a ticket." And I was like, "Oh, well, okay, yeah, let's do it." And I was a little bummed out because I'm trying to hold on to my money. I have a couple things I'm saving up for, and so I'm on a, you know, I'm fasting. That's one thing I'm doing right now. I'm fasting for a lot of meals. I'm not running out and eating all the time, living at that standard that some people say you gotta eat. You gotta eat. Well, this is true, but I think that the whole you gotta eat thing is a little overblown. Like, obviously you have to eat, but I mean, like, you don't have to eat 3 meals a day. I mean, if you're chopping down trees or something like that, yeah, get your calories in. But if you're just sitting at a computer all day, I think eating those 3 meals is probably detrimental to your health. It reminds me, I know some people who work at computers, and they often, a lot of them, some people end up being like really overweight and unhealthy, and they're not like doing anything wrong. They're just not adding in the one aspect, which is just a little bit of fitness, a little bit of calorie burning or calorie maintenance. Yeah. When you get old like me, your metabolism doesn't work as well, so therefore you're not just burning up calories. I remember when I would just eat, and that time does not exist anymore. I do not live that way anymore, and I knew it was coming. My elders had warned me. They said, TJ, that's what my mom would call me. TJ, no, my mom didn't call me that. That'd be funny. Boy, you need to eat more. No, I don't think they said that either. Ooh, I like the line work that came out of this. I don't know how I feel about Oliver's face right here. So I'm getting the expression that I want down here, but it doesn't really match this kind of cuteness factor that I'm looking for over here. So I may have to visit it again, but boy, did I nail it over here, huh? These are close-ups on it, and this is just going to be one panel of a very small page. So I do put a lot of detail on these things. You know, to get a really good idea of what this stuff looks like, you have to come all the way out. It's not bad stuff, though. All right. So let's do what I always do, which is I flatten everything to make it black and white, because these are black and white books. Some people criticize me for that, but kick rocks. Okay, and then we have these panels. Ooh, these aren't too bad, too. Getting through these. I wonder if there's anything to save for... You know, it might be good. Let's do... I'm going to draw an ad for the stream so that people know I'm streaming. So we would say the stream is, if you're wondering, the stream is Monday through Thursday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. I wonder if there's an easier way to do this. Easier on Twitch and on... Where's our panel at? What are we drawing on? Okay. So we'll say on Twitch. Let's do the purple, the Twitch purple. It's kind of got this color. Conformity Farm, and then YouTube. I don't know exactly how YouTube does it. Let's take a look. YouTube, how do y'all be doing it? YouTube's really the place to go, right? I mean, let's be honest. Let's just be honest. Oh, it doesn't have a special thing. Or on YouTube. Or we would say, on the YouTubes. And then what do we do here? We'll do a black one. There we go. And then I'll snag this. Let's do this way. So I'll just screen grab this and drop it in my phone. See if it catches on. All right, thank you so much for hanging out on the stream. You know, I'm here 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday from 8 to 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. And I am, in fact, living the dream. Oh, it looks like I've only been live for 50 minutes. Well, I thought it was from 8 to 9, so I don't know how that worked out. But I do have to get going, so I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care.